What's up everybody, we're keeping the train moving. We have a lot more devices to cover this year, and the next one on the list is the HTC 10. I'm so used to saying like HTC M10 or HTC M9 or whatever, but this is one of HTC's last flagships. Of course they've had newer ones since then, but this one actually came out in May of 2016. And it's actually kind of interesting how this phone pretty much aged, because if you kind of look at it, it really doesn't look too premium. I mean, this is one of those phones that's polarizing when you're looking at it through a picture, because like I said, it doesn't look too premium, but when you're feeling it, you can just feel the build quality and it feels super awesome. And that's one of the advantages over HTC's phones, especially even if you look at them now, they're built so well. But this phone just looks so quirky, and I didn't really notice it until I held it in my hand. And it kind of stems from the fingerprint sensor that's up front. It's kind of lower than it should have been, I think. I think it should have been in the middle, or they should have made the screen a little bit bigger to cover, because it seems like it's on the lower half of the screen rather than the upper top of the bezel. That's kind of preference though. And if you go look on top, the camera looks humongous for like what it should be, and it sticks out like a sore thumb. And they put an LED light underneath the speakerphone, like to the right of it. So this phone is just kind of quirky, and it even goes when you look around the body. You have a micro SD card slot and a SIM card slot on two separate sides. I feel like they could have put it on the same side. That's kind of a minor one though. And they have a headphone jack on the top. But yeah, build quality wise, I really like the way it feels. The screen is actually super nice, and that has to be one of the best features of this phone. It's a 1440p panel, it's 5.2 inches, it's a super LCD, it's not AMOLED, it's not IPS, but I really do think this panel looks really good and really sharp. Now turning it on, we actually have Android 8.0, which is super awesome. HTC could have very well stopped it at Android 7.0. I'm really glad they didn't. It started off getting Android 6.0 Marshmallow. It's probably going to stop at Android 8.0. It might go further, I don't know at this point, but I don't really see it going that far. And in terms of performance, I mean, this is one of those things where stock Android would have been so awesome on a device like this, I feel like. And you also have that option. I'm pretty sure you can root it and custom ROM it. I say it in every video, and that's the only time I'm going to mention it here. Maybe I'll mention it at the ending too. But in terms of specs, it has a quad-core processor, an Adreno 530 GPU, and 4 GB of RAM. And overall performance and overall gaming is pretty good. It's on the better end of things. And I really think Android 8.0 really did speed up things on this phone, because I did hear a lot of things when it was on Android 7.0 that it wasn't too good. So I don't really know what changed here. I never had it before, so this is my first time seeing it, and I can't really see what people were complaining about. I do think overall performance is awesome. I don't really like HTC's UI. I just think it looks a little weird. They have kind of streamlined it a little bit more and they made it look a little bit more like stock Android, but I would way rather prefer this over Samsung's TouchWiz, and that's without a doubt. Now the camera is actually 12 megapixels. It's pretty decent, I'm not gonna lie. It has optical image stabilization, laser autofocus, dual LED flash, and it's overall pretty decent. It can shoot 4K video, 720p videos at 120 frames per second. And I do like this camera a lot. There's really not too much to complain. I mean, I'm not really like a photographer or anything like that, but photos seem to be perfectly fine. If you plan on getting this phone for the camera, you probably will enjoy it. I do think it's probably one of the better aspects of this phone for sure. The front camera is 5 megapixels, and it looks so much bigger than a 5 megapixel sensor. I thought it'd be like a 12 megapixel sensor up front too, but whatever. Now, battery life has to be one of the lower ends of this phone, and I always talk, and especially when I'm comparing Android phones, battery life is one of those things that for some reason Android manufacturers just don't want to, just knock out of the park. Very few phones do it. I feel like the Galaxy S7 Edge was a perfect example. The Google Pixel XL was pretty good. This phone has a 3000 mAh battery. It's in the middle. It could probably get me through a day, but I would have to be very stingy with my usage, and I would just pretty much leave it at that. I mean, yeah, it's good, but I would probably expect more out of a phone. But you have to remember, it's not like the most spec'd out thing either. It doesn't have any crazy features. HTC's Sense UI isn't really that heavy either, so it's decent for what it is. Now, some other notable things to note: this phone does have a fingerprint sensor. It's fairly accurate. It's not a real button, so it doesn't really click in. It's kind of like the OnePlus 2s, 3s, all over buttons. It's not really a button. It's just kind of virtual. It also has a USB-C port. It doesn't have wireless charging, which kind of sucks, but it does have quick charge 3.0, so you can get 50% of your battery charged in 30 minutes, so that's pretty cool. Like I said, it also has a micro SD card slot, which is amazing. So with all those things being said, should you pick up the HTC 10 in 2018? I would say, yeah, it's a very good phone. It's not a bad phone at all. I don't really have any problems with it. It's very middle of the road. If you want a safe phone and you just want to use it for a while, you want something that feels pretty good in the hand, this isn't that bad of an option, I'll be honest. But I recently reviewed the Google Pixel XL, and I would say that is probably one of the better phones I've ever reviewed in terms of used phones of a couple years ago. And this phone came out the same year as the Pixel XL, so if you're in the market, I would probably consider a Google Pixel XL over this if I had to look at the two. They're both around the same price too, but really you can't go wrong with either. If you want HTC, this has awesome build quality, and I think this is better built than the Pixel XL, but really the choice is yours. But if you're on the fence of getting it, I would say yeah, it's not a bad deal at all. If you want to pick up the HTC 10 or Google Pixel XL, check out the links in the description. Make sure you get them through that link because it definitely helps support the channel. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions or anything, leave it down in the comment section below. Hit that like button, that'll mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. We're still giving away an iPhone 6s and an iPhone SE on the channel, and in order to enter, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel and follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Both those links are down in the description, so make sure you enter that. But more importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys, and hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.